Star Wars is another great example.
Yeah, American capitalism. American capitalism has created an environment where corporations get to basically the environment, do whatever the fuck they want, and then as long as they hire one trans person, everything is forgiven because you can't criticize anybody if they have a trans person working there. Oh, also, before I move on to the president's health, I did want to show this maximum cope position. Asmongold will not debate HasanAbi or Destiny. Asmongold believes they're both trying to force him to platform their bad faith opinions. My bad faith opinion is I think all fraud is bad, and I think the government, the right-wing government currently, is just hyper-focusing on all Somalis specifically so that you forget that everyone is engaging in fraud and they're never going to actually fucking tackle fraud at all, and that's it. I like that he's doing, I can't platform him. Everyone who disagrees with me now,
everybody that disagrees with me now believes that they're entitled. Well, I don't agree with what you're saying. So
first of all, I don't think I'm entitled to a platform at all. It's just that you do talk about me every single day, and obviously you platform me every single day. The problem here is you want to control how you platform my opinions. That's the issue. It's dishonesty. You want to frame every single thing that I say in a way that is palatable to your audience because you're actually afraid that if they were to hear my true perspective, they would probably agree with it. That's the issue. And I said that as well. The moment Asmongold talks to anyone who's read a single book is the moment he'll look like an absolute buffoon. This is why he'll keep farming drama rather than talk to a single person who disagrees with him. That's it. That's it. He's being a pussy. Yeah. He wants to consistently debate a negatively framed version of me that he can control. If he were to have an actual conversation with me, the moment that he says, yeah, you actually want the Somalis to do fraud, I'd be like, no, arrest every single Somali person that is engaged in fraud, just like you should arrest every single person that is engaged in fraud. And then all of a sudden, that falls apart, right? Because you can say Hasan wants Hasan wants Somali fraud to continue. You can just say that with ease and your audience will believe you. Why should they not believe you? Especially if they've been negatively framed against whatever my position is over and over again through the daily fuck Hasan compilations that you're engaging in. That's it.
So now you have to come on my stream and talk to me. No, I don't think so. I don't think so. It's not going to happen. Why would I do that? And also, these people get so fixated and so mad about the fact that I don't want to do this. Why would I play into your game? Why would I play
into your game where we have a conversation and you actually show that I don't really know what I'm talking about? That would make me look very bad. I would rather keep framing whatever you're saying in a totally ridiculous and totally negative way to my audience that is desperate to hear negative perspectives on total team boundaries, right? Because this is team sports. Asmongold is in the right team. Hasan is in the wrong team, right? And he has no credibility whatsoever. He hasn't really done any serious reading on any of this stuff. He hasn't done any serious thinking on any of this stuff. So obviously, if anyone scratched the surface of his fucking surface level argumentation here, that's simply rehashing whatever fucking talking points that are popping off on his subreddit or popping off on Twitter, all of a sudden, a lot of people that are in his audience are going to a lot of people in his audience are going to go, wait, maybe Asmongold doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Yeah, that's it. Because every single time that Asmongold and I have had conversations, right, back in the day, he looked like a fucking toddler. I will admit, however, it did make me think because of his openness to having any sort of conversation like this, I falsely was also duped. I was duped into thinking that maybe he is open-minded, maybe he's just like a little misguided or whatever. I did not think that he was just straightforward grifting to this degree. I think now it's a little different. Yeah, I used to praise him for being somewhat open-minded.
Thing that you want me to do. Why wouldn't I just keep doing the thing that I want to do? Both these guys use the same excuses to avoid me, avoiding each other, then call each other out, using excuses to avoid each other while avoiding me will never not be hilarious. I know. And for people like Destiny...
Yeah, I think there is. You were an Asmongold fan? No, I wouldn't say I was an Asmongold fan, but you know, I saw him as a peer that I disagreed with, and I did not think that he was anywhere near as I mean, he wasn't as harmful as he is now. Like there is nothing that you can compare this to. I mean, it's hard to compare Asmongold in the past to Asmongold now. You'll say, oh, well, I saw him say this thing back in the day, and that obviously made me understand that he was right-wing or whatever, but like he never tuned it up to this degree. You guys are crazy, I think, if you think that Asmongold was doing this level of racialized, insane agitative propaganda at the behest of the Republican Party on a daily basis like a partisan hack. He was not. He has definitely tuned up the rhetoric tremendously. Maybe he believed some of these things already, and maybe he was too shy to openly admit it. But nowadays, he's going full-blown, full tilt.
I'm sure this is very disappointing that, you know, Destiny watched a YouTube video of me that he disagreed with, and so now I'm obligated to have to go and argue with him on his stream.
I don't think that's the case, for the record. I don't think that you have to offer people a platform just because they demand it. I think that's silly. I'm not even saying you have to give me a platform, but notice how he's framing it that way because he has to make this seem as though this is a silly request, right? He has to, once again, control the narrative for his audience, and that's precisely what he's doing here. And he has to still present a show of strength and in a moment where he's very clearly insecure about his lack of knowledge on any particular subject matter. Like, the situation here is he would much rather frame things in a negative way for his audience and keep saying, oh, Hasan is very stupid, Hasan is very dumb, don't listen to him over and over again, and instead of like actually entertaining the arguments that I'm presenting, right? If he had any issues with platforming, right, and he's talking like a woke SJW here with the whole, I'm not going to platform people, right? These are dangerous ideas that I'm platforming, and the dangerous ideas that I have are what? Fucking, we should investigate and prosecute all instances of fraud in this country. Very dangerous. And we shouldn't rely on random dumbfuck YouTubers claiming that there's no children inside of a daycare facility, and the only evidence they present is just knocking on the door of a child. The reason why he doesn't want to do this is because he is afraid. He's afraid that he's going to look silly
About it. No, I don't think so.
No.
No, I didn't. I never agreed to these rules. It's not going to happen. So the more you tweet about it and complain about it and everything else, go ahead, do it. And if you do it on stream, I'm going to get another video out of it. The last Destiny video did really, really well.
He's like a petulant child who, once again, is running hot on this newfound influence that he has gathered. Okay, just full blown, openly admitting to grifting too. I'm not going to get pissed off and reward him because he loves being like, oh, I've killed him, I've destroyed him, I've trolled him so hard he got really mad. I think this is ego. That's what it is. It's ego speaking. It's like, no, I will not be platforming you. Guess what? Because I'm popping. Okay, look, I've been here. I've been doing this for 10 plus years at this point. Okay, there's always going to be highs and lows, brother. There's a boomerang to this stuff. When woke comes back and you have to shut down some of your reactionary takes, it'll come for you. When you start noticing your audience hemorrhaging and have to pivot on other issues, it'll come for you. I've been through the highs and lows and maintained a consistent worldview through it all. That's the big difference between someone like myself and many of these guys who they're tourists. I'll use a term that anime fans understand. You know how there's like anime tourists or whatever? These guys are politics tourists, okay? They don't have a serious worldview that they've thought about. They don't have a vision for a better future. They're just simply responding to audience feedback. The moment that Asmongold goes back to playing video games and talking about titties in video games or whatever the fuck he was doing before he started doing this pro-Trump shit is the moment that you know the grift is over, at least for this political commentary side of things.
So if we can get another one, I will. Well, this is what their strategy is, right? Is that they want to constantly go and, they want to effectively...
Also, Destiny saying this stuff is really funny. One, because he's banned, and two, because he's utterly irrelevant. Like, let's be real. He's like, oh, why won't anybody talk to me? I don't know, man. Maybe because you got, active court cases that you're dealing with where investigators have found out that you tried to procure child sexual abuse material. I feel like for me, there's a little bit of a, there's a better argument here, which for the record, I don't think Asmongold will talk to Destiny either. I don't think he'll talk to Destiny at all. And I do think that it would be productive overall if he even talked to Destiny. Let's be real. To be fair, I don't think that's the reason Asmon isn't talking to him. No, the reason why Asmongold is not talking to Destiny or myself is the same exact reason. Okay? It's the same exact reason. They don't want to, he doesn't want to have, genuinely terrified, like actually terrified. He can try to present this as like I'm actually coming at this from the perspective of like, I don't want to platform people or whatever. But yeah, it's because he's unqualified. And it's fine to be unqualified. I wouldn't give a shit if he wasn't spreading such hateful narratives and actually misdirecting his audience. Examples that I've used in the past, obviously, revolve around the Mahmoud Khalil incident, right? When Mahmoud Khalil was apprehended, detained, and was slated to be deported, I said there is no legal basis to do this. Asmongold farmed that incident and kept claiming over and over again, yeah, it's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to happen. I said, you're wrong. This is a First Amendment violation, clear cut through and through. If the administration actually followed through on this would be a severe violation of the First Amendment. And he was wrong. That's just one example. There are a million examples of this every single day, right? That's all it is. He doesn't want to look silly. He doesn't want to look like he's wrong. And that's why he'd rather talk about me to his audience instead of talking to me, where his audience can make up their own minds. It's actually also somewhat insincere. Like you're basically saying you don't trust your audience. You don't trust your own skill. You don't trust your own knowledge. And you don't really trust your audience to make up their own minds either. You have to keep it compact. And before Destiny says, oh, Hasan, you do the same thing, brother, with the exception of talking to someone like Destiny, I do actually talk to right-wing commentators with regular frequency. You've just lied to your audience and claimed that I don't do that. I talk to right-wingers all the time. I do not shy away from the open discourse. As a matter of fact, I'm trying to talk to this right-winger right now.
Try to bully you into talking to them so you give them a platform and allow them to spread whatever they want to say, right?
I'm trying to bully Asmongold. Yeah. He would rather debate a clip of yours as he's doing right now. Let's see what he's doing. Let's see.
So I was on Instagram, and so people are they said my 2026 gonna be like, and they're making fan cam edits of AI generated montages of Jeffrey Epstein out on ski boats on an island with a bunch of rich friends and stuff like that. And they're actually trying to create an aura for Jeffrey Epstein.
I think he's just farming. He must be just farming the people that are looking for anti-Hasan clips, because he's not even talking about me in this situation. Let's see what he said before.
Jesus. Look at he is.
Look at Hasan meat riding Asmongold for the 300th day in a row. Does it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit? Hasan says the walls are closing in for Asmongold after his Minnesota childcare coverage. Does it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit on your daddy? They're K-pop stands. At least K-pop artists are hot. You're over here standing for this creature. Yeah, he has no argument. Yeah, that's why he just calls me ugly. When he calls me ugly, he's calling you ugly, chat. He's calling everybody ugly. He's just like that jock on your daddy.
What is this?
Look at Hasan meat riding Asmongold for the 300th day. He and his community will cut parts of your answer and turn it to his advantage. Bet. Yeah, I know. I don't give a shit. They do this every fucking day. The reality of the matter is, it is pertinent. It is up to the individual, okay? I have confidence not only in my worldview, but I also have confidence in the minds of all these people that tune in. Eventually, for every 10 people that tune in for more Fuck Hasan content, there's going to be 3 people that will go, let me go see this for myself. Okay? Let me go see this for myself. Calling it now, he's going to go full crybaby and point to you being bigger and stronger than him and try to turn it into you intimidating him. What? No. I think he's just going to say he has no argument. Yeah, base. Does it feel like the walls are closing in a little bit on your daddy?
Is that right?
A person that you consider to be this idealistic intellectual? Is that why you guys keep coming in here and crying? Is that what it is? That there is like maybe a fraction of the scrutiny on the shit that he says on a daily basis?
Yes.
And all of a sudden now it's like, oh, you guys, why are you paying attention to him? I don't know. Why are you so scared?
What is he talking about?
I mean, once again, if Asmongold wasn't scared, instead of trying to consistently debate clips of, that are framed in a particular way, okay, he would talk to me directly. He has the capacity, right? He follows me on Twitter. I follow him back. He can hit me up on Discord. But instead, he'll just keep going, oh, I'm just farming drama. I'm just farming you. Get farmed, idiot. That's right. It's really pissing you off, I bet. It's not. This is not the first time that I've had insane haters. Please stop playing into it. Asmon is the most competent enemy you have had because he knows the most important skill, streaming. You can't play this game, man. He needs to be discovered by mainstream media and dug out before anything happens. He can do this all day. No. I mean, Chatter's not wrong. Asmongold is a good streamer. That's why he was one of the biggest fucking streamers before he started doing this politics grift. Okay? Ultimately, if you're confident in your stance 100% and you call me stupid like he did, okay, you have to treat Asmongold like a lolcow. Every time someone tries to farm him, he ignores them. I mean, this isn't even a farming operation. I think we're going tit for tat here. I try to stick to actual politics. I try to stick to the actual political output here. He's the one who can't actually talk about my positions. So he either has to bastardize it to his audience and have no pushback, obviously, in this circumstance because it's a fucking clip, right? Because the clip can't dunk on him, right? But at the end of the day, the reason why I talk about this kind of stuff is, and this is silly, this is like, this is devoid of actual politics. Like this back and forth happening here with him reacting to a clip of mine is utterly devoid of politics. I want to talk about the policies. I want to talk about the politics. He wants to turn this into drama over and over again. Okay? But the reason why this still matters, the reason why this is still significant, even though people will go, why are you doing this? Who gives a fuck? The reason why this still is significant is because, I mean, look, guys, Elon Musk is highlighting Asmongold's positions, right? He's highlighting Asmongold's positions. Like, clearly, these things do have impact in terms of changing people's minds. If you don't, like, people didn't used to do this when I talked about Ben Shapiro every single fucking day when Ben Shapiro was popping, right? People don't do this when I talk about Tucker Carlson. But when it comes down to Asmongold, you get really sad and you get a little worried because you kind of understand that Asmongold's audience will consistently cyberstalk both myself and even my fans and keep fucking spamming slurs and whatever the fuck, right? But like, you still have to deal with it. I mean, these guys are not going to go away. Woke is not going to make a magical comeback, okay? I think some of you basically think that this kind of stuff is just going to go away and people are going to get too annoyed with it and they're going to speak out. Someone has to have the confidence to stick their neck out. Someone has to actually lead the way, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen magically. The pendulum does not swing unless someone is actually trying to swing it back. That's it. A lot more popular and overemphasized on the internet that it's actually a narrative that is gaining momentum or popularity still, the anti-immigrant stuff that he's doing.
It tremendously is. If you think that the average American sees a bunch of Somalians living in $1 million house and then yelling at somebody whenever they ask if your home daycare is able to accept new people and they're speaking in a language that's not English, if you actually think that like most Americans are like, Oh my God. I love this. This is so good. The only people that are doing this are circle jerkers in Hasan's orbit. Nobody else thinks this. Go to Walmart and you show this. It's just explain what's going on here. And they'll be like, oh, what the fuck? What do you mean they're getting free childcare? Well, I gotta pay for that every day. Gee.
Did he watch the same clip as us? No, that's the reason why. That's the reason why he can craft a narrative from his hug box. Okay? My point is, if the average American looks at someone like myself and looks at someone like Asmongold, who is the average American going to think is like more coherent in their worldview? Or is a more credible actor, for example, a more credible political actor, for example? Like, what pops off on the internet is not necessarily what is consistent with mainstream perspectives. Okay? Oh my God, Asmon, sadly. Sure, guys. I think a lot of you are also Twitch watchers, and that's part of the reason why you have this ridiculous opinion. There's a reason why anytime I fucking have guests on and I show them like even a fraction of a fucking Asmongold clip, they're shocked. They're horrified, not only by the things he's saying, okay, but also just the way he carries himself and the way he presents himself. There's a difference between people getting duped into believing that only Somalis are actually doing fraud in America or whatever and developing a reactionary position, which I'm trying to combat right now, versus the type of shit that he says. The average American hears someone go, these are parasitic third world, these are parasites from the third world that must be forcibly deported. Yeah, there's people who like that kind of sentiment. They're in fucking Klan rallies, okay? That's it. That's it. That kind of narrative is much more popular online than it is in the real world. That's it. Most offline people think he is a grotesque. You're saying you mog him? I mean, yes, I am saying that. It is true. I am. I'm both mogging. I'm brain maxing. I'm brain mogging him and also looks maxing and look mogging him too. The problem is whenever I say stuff like that, half jokingly, people get really up in their feelings because they're like, well, I look and think like Asmongold, so I guess you're saying that about me too. And they get really fucking hurt. They get up in their fifis. Let's see what Asmongold's doing now.
Media? Yeah, exactly. And so that's the reason, I don't know, just and Comcast, this is your legacy. This is your life. This is right now. Wake up, Hasan.
Yeah, you're right, brother.
Wake up.
I know when politicians come on the stream, they're like, wow, dude, all the fucking weirdos that are spamming these memes, they really got to me. None of the guests have ever heard the Bloodwall story and have gone, oh, that's dope. This is what I mean. This is what I fucking mean. Look, argue against my positions, okay? Argue against my politics. And I'm willing to entertain arguing specifically against your policies and your positions. We don't have to talk about the blood wall. We don't have to talk about how you carry yourself, how you present yourself. We can simply talk about the impact that your commentary is having. But he can't do that, which is precisely the reason why he has to do this shit over and over again. That's it. And there is an audience. There is certainly an audience. There is certainly an audience that is demanding this, like, oh yeah, do more fuck Hasan content. Do more fuck Hasan content. And he's just gonna keep trying to farm that. And then cut another YouTube video and be like, yeah, Hasan is actually really frustrated with me. Okay, you can keep doing that all day, every day. But you're fucking terrified to actually have an adult conversation with another adult who knows what they're talking about. That's it. Why would he argue about your positions if the point is to debase you and get you to endlessly stoop down to his level? I think part of the reason why you guys don't understand this kind of shit or what the necessity for this is that sure, we're doing a lot of like adult commentary here, but every now and then I have to address some of this stuff. And the reason why I have to address some of this stuff is because this shit works. You have to sometimes, get down to their level. Okay? I know you are brilliant and you want me to only talk about theory or only talk about the news and never actually get into the dirt. Okay? I get it. I understand. But you have to understand there's a funnel here. And more consequentially, it's not even about like what he's doing where he's like talking shit about me, but it's actually the propaganda that he's putting out where he consistently presents a one-sided narrative. You have to address it. I have to address it. Someone has to address it, especially when he refuses to entertain any sort of disagreement. And instead of actually having, like, can you imagine when Asmongold makes a point, and it's a wrong point on another political issue that he's getting wrong. If I were to turn around and immediately just be like, oh, well, you look like you smell bad, that's it. Instead of actually addressing why he's wrong, yeah, I'd be doing what he's doing. I do both. I make those jokes as well. But also, the main function here is that I try to tackle his argument.
No more. Like, why are you you don't understand what the morals and virtues are. Never let somebody tell you what their values are. Let them reveal them to you through their actions. And that's really what's going to give you an indicator on whether somebody is doing something or not. Remember very clearly, corporations bending over backwards to the annoying, loud, mentally ill people on Twitter. I was asking it even back in the late 2000s when it started. Exactly. And so I'm a GE welder, and they had a meeting with us warning us to be careful what we said on social media. Yeah, exactly. And so that's the reason why you had woke. Woke was not a cultural phenomenon. Woke was forced on you by billion-dollar corporations in order to make you compliant with their worldviews. Because here's also the issue, is that all of the woke worldviews actually indirectly help these companies. Things like, being able to make classes of people that are non-criticizable. Like, if you can just leverage and say any trans person or any black person you're criticizing, you're being transphobic or racist against, then all a company has to do is put a trans person or a black person.
Yes, famously, people actually hire trans people exclusively so that they are devoid of scrutiny, so that people, who could forget when DuPont was dumping toxic pollutants in the fucking water? They were like, oh, we'll just hire a trans person on the board and everything will go away. That shit is so stupid. These guys cry when you make fun of white men and then talk about classes of people you can't shit on. It's so stupid. The truth here is that companies were doing DEI initiatives partially because they wanted to market themselves as tolerant at a time when, yes, people were a lot more tolerant and woke was popping, okay? For sure. It's something that I also criticized all the time, specifically like, Target Pride Month merchandise or things like that. Or not criticized, but just like joked about, right? Because you can do that without actually being a hateful fucking douchebag. Woke is real because capitalism, Hasan. Are you dumb? What?
Out there, and you can't criticize the company. See, you never think about never think
no
about
no one ever criticizes companies when there are trans people working there. Famously, like, one of the number one criticisms of fucking Lockheed Martin is immediately destroyed because Lockheed Martin is actually very woke and very gay, right? If that was the case, there wouldn't be an entire genre of criticism of companies, specifically around pink washing, specifically around rainbow capitalism. And not just companies either. Israel does this shit all the time. We actually dunk on Israel doing this shit all the time. It's so fucking stupid. Like, this is the reason why he can't have I rarely ever look at like his full his full argument on anything, and I'm realizing this is precisely the reason why he's terrified of having a normal conversation with me, because I'd be like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Technologies as tools and weapons. They only think about it as a principle, but it's whenever you create this ideology and then you weaponize it and you're able to use it to your advantage, that's whenever you're really going to come out ahead. That's what's going to happen. What company has done that? I think a lot of companies have. Look at what happened.
Okay. A chatter asks, what company has done that? A lot of them.
With Bud Light. I mean, they tried to do that. It just didn't work.
Bud Light hired a trans executive. Bud Light sent one can of beer to a trans content creator, and all hell broke loose. One can. People got one canned. And it was apparently so fucking impactful that Asmongold is still talking about it. Brilliant.
Star Wars is another great example.
Yeah. American capitalism American capitalism has created an environment where corporations get to basically destroy the environment, do whatever the fuck they want, and then as long as they hire one trans person, everything is forgiven because you can't criticize anybody if they have a trans person working there. And then the two immediate arguments he gives is one instance where Bud Light sent one fucking can of beer to Dylan Mulvaney, a trans TikToker, and everyone was shooting cans of Bud Light because they lost their fucking minds. And Star Wars. You really gotta be dumber than dirt to believe right-wing shit. The way things work currently is, people are dumber than dirt.
Another good example is The Witcher. Let me think. Besides that, Lockheed Martin, I don't know about that. So, yeah.
Lockheed Martin, you don't know about that. According to the Human Rights Watch, or is it Human Rights Council? One of the two. Lockheed Martin is one of the gayest companies out there. The reason why a chatter brought up Lockheed Martin as an example is because it's one of the most common examples of rainbow capitalism that people actually shit on. Okay? Lockheed Martin's entire output is inventing new ways of murdering brown children overseas. Okay? It is a deeply unethical business. It is a firm and committed part of the military-industrial complex that dictates more and more funds be allocated to them. And that obviously plays a big role in American militarism all around the globe, right? And yet every single person shits on Lockheed Martin, and they also go so far as to shit on Lockheed Martin's like pro-gay, pro-LGBTQ initiatives, because everybody at the end of the day understands that none of that fucking matters. I hope you know you're making shit worse acknowledging this motherfucker. The amount of times he's criticized you talking about him, this only feeds into that. You're right. I should ignore the guy who is making the dumbest arguments to 45,000 people right now. I should just ignore him and it'll go away. Brother, for like the last year, I barely talked about Asmongold. Only as of late have I started talking about him more frequently. And that never really stopped him from demanding that I get deported, demanding that I get arrested, demanding that the FBI persecute me, prosecute me, all this shit, calling me a fucking terrorist over and over again, demanding I get deplatformed over and over again. Like, you think any of this stuff matters? No, of course not. Someone has to fucking debunk the idiocy coming from this guy. That's
Gillette,
it.
yeah, exactly. And so they put somebody as a figurehead up there that is part of a minority group in order for them to subvert all of these people's perception. And then instead of making them think, yeah, well, look at all these examples, right? People are just coming up with them nonstop. So now you can't criticize these types of media because you're now having to support it because of the identity. And that's what's happening. And that's my whole point of what I was trying to get at. So yeah, and best way you've articulated this, keep saying it this way. Yeah, and on top of that,
wait, I'm sorry, what?
Well, look at all these examples, right? People are just coming up with them nonstop. So now you can't criticize these types of media because you're now having to support.
Brother, saying Star Wars sucks because it has like, I don't even know what the meta is with Star Wars. Is it because like there's like a black character in it or something? What the fuck were these guys crying about? Because like saying Star Wars sucks is fine. Everybody says it. I say it all the fucking time. But if you turn around and you cry because you saw like a black character in Star Wars, then yeah, of course people are going to dunk on you. They're not trying to cancel you or anything. They're just making fun of you. Making fun of you is not a cancellation, okay? Because that one lady got fired or something. Oh yeah, the fucking Gina Carano. Right? Is that what it is? Is that the reason why they're I don't even know what his gripe with Star Wars is because I don't really give a fuck about Star Wars in general. Okay? Black people and women leads. Okay, yeah, that's I don't know. Maybe that's Asmongold's point. Instead of inventing what his points are here, I'm just, because I can't fucking talk to him. I'm not going to invent whatever his perspective is. I'm just referring to the most common ways in which people have like criticized Star Wars. With the exception of Andor, I don't really fuck with Star Wars at all as an IP. I think KOTOR is one of the greatest Star Wars IP related works of art that's out there. Knights of the Old Republic. Shouts out to the new game that's coming out. But as far as like the wokeness of Star Wars or whatever, it's not even remotely relevant, in my opinion, to media criticism. I think it's very, very stupid to constantly cry about this, to constantly complain about this, okay? I like Andor. I like Knights of the Old Republic. I don't really give a shit about the rest of the Star Wars franchise. And it does seem to me like a lot of the fucking nerds online who happen to be right-wing constantly complain about Star Wars because they think it's woke or some shit. I don't know. But none of that None of that is creating an environment where like a work of art or some kind of IP is not worthy of any sort of criticism whatsoever, or an actual corporation putting up a shield, a defensive shield against like, I don't know, poisoning the environment or filling the things that we consume with like microplastics, or lobbying the government to consistently go out and fucking bomb countries overseas and demand more subsidies from the government. None of those things, like, it's not a valid criticism to be like, oh no, I can't actually criticize this company. I can't criticize ExxonMobil for destroying the planet because they have gay people working there. That's not a real thing. Okay? You invented that. Okay? You invented that criticism, and I don't even think you can point to anyone who is sincerely making that argument. If someone is sincerely making that argument, I'll be the first to fucking joke about that and dunk on them, as I have time and time again. As a matter of fact, one of my famous intros is literally more women drone pilots from Vika's music, which actually directly makes a joke about pink washing and white feminism, and how certain rad-lib tendencies are actually used as a silly deflective shield that most people are aware of, that most people actually don't entertain at all.
Look up at the sky and hear an awful sound. 4 hellfire missiles in the sky. I watch my life flash before my eyes, but at least there's one huge plus. We know that the gay woman drone pilot, hashtag girl boss.
So it didn't work with Bud Light, and then being like, you can't criticize them, but it didn't work. Or this example where it also didn't work, like the amount of cognitive dissonance. Exactly. Like, people understand this shit. At least leftists understand this shit. I don't even think Democrats even lean into this stuff anyway, and I'm obviously very critical of the Democrats regardless.
It because of the identity, and that's what's happening, and that's my whole point of what I was trying to get at. So yeah, and best way you've articulated this, keep saying it this way. Yeah, and on top of that, also, like, who do you think bringing in a bunch of immigrants actually helps? Do you think that actually helps American citizens? Of course it doesn't help American citizens. But you know who it does help? It helps big business. It helps big business.
Elaborate on that. This is the question. Bringing in immigrants into the country, or we're not even like shipping in immigrants in most circumstances. It's just like immigrants are coming into the country, right? Because there's still more opportunity here as opposed to the places of origin, the nations of origin, where immigrants are coming from, that we have oftentimes destroyed, right? But immigrants don't actually come here as a monolithic force or as a parasitic force in general. They come here in the same exact with the same exact mindset that Asmongold's great grandparents did, right? They wanted a better future for themselves. That's why they came here. They thought there was a lot of opportunity here, and that's it. It doesn't change when someone is like coming from the Latin American continent, the South American continent, or coming in from Germany, or wherever the fuck Asmongold's parents, like great grandparents, immigrated from. Okay, and yes, immigrants do actually help this country. Immigrants are the reason why immigration is perhaps the most redeemable aspect of the United States of America. It's the reason why America has been such a dominant power all around the world beyond the endless imperialism. Okay, immigrants are the reason why the United States of America have not fallen into the same issues that many other developed countries have fallen into in terms of aging out their population. You're trying to explain the concept of brain drain to someone who doesn't shower. I know there's also that element too. Obviously, like when you have a steady flow of migration coming from other countries, some of their top earners, some of the people that have the highest educational attainment are actually coming to the United States of America. This benefits America endlessly. That's precisely the reason why so many of the products that every single American consumes, that we consider to be like tremendously innovative pieces of technology, have come because or have been invented by immigrant workers working on publicly funded research programs. Like, it's ridiculous. This argument is ridiculous, and it's also un-American. Okay, it is the most American thing. The United States of America was developed as a settler colonial enterprise on the backs of continuing chattel slavery and doing indigenous genocide. But everything past that point has always been immigrants coming here nonstop and becoming American. So when people actually take this anti-immigrant stance, it's like the most un-American stance you can have. There's always obviously been people who have cried about new migration patterns, right? Italians, they're coming in, they're parasitic. The Irish, they're coming in, they're parasitic. Jewish people should not be allowed to come in, they're parasitic. All this stuff, right? Polish people, Greek people. And slowly but surely, all of these groups have firmly become a part of America, so much so that when you're like 4, 5, 6 generations removed from the nation of origin, you don't even think about where your background is from unless it comes up in a conversation. You're just American. And that's the same for migrants coming in from the South American continent as well. That's it. And as far as like, oh, this doesn't benefit anybody, that's also ridiculous, right? Not only are migrants playing a formative role in publicly funded research, but they're also playing an incredibly important role in the productive forces in this country. Okay? They're working just like everybody else is working. That's it.
Big corporations and billionaires and the business ruling class. Those are the people that it really helps. So what they did is they poisoned the Democrat Party with identity.
Yeah. As far as this being beneficial to big business, he's not wrong. It is beneficial to big business. It's only beneficial to big business, however, if the new coming immigrants are considered second-class labor, second-tier labor. We have a 2-tier labor structure in this country: undocumented workers and documented workers. And undocumented workers are oftentimes used as a mechanism to displace the existing documented U.S. labor force. It is used by big business as a way to depress wages overall. This part is correct, okay? But the solution to that is not to continue the disposable 2-tier labor structure or to engage in mass deportation and concentration camps for anyone that we've determined is not white enough, right? The solution to that is actually to the existing labor force across the board with conditional amnesty measures, which are very popular, by the way, even though they're never discussed by the Democratic Party, unfortunately, okay? And then allow them to participate in the labor union collective bargaining process. This will automatically increase wages. It is the only way to actually have a long-term solution to what can be seen as a problem right now, a problem that only benefits big businesses. It is also ironic because he'll take an anti-big business stance here while simultaneously benefiting the bottom line of these big businesses, because consistently shifting the attention back to the undocumented laborer as though the undocumented laborer is responsible for the system and not the fucking capital owner is entirely beneficial. It's the work of capitalists to draw enmity towards those who actually have the exact same class position as you, who are working for pennies on the fucking dollar, right? To say, oh, they look different than you. You should get mad about them. They look different than you. They don't know your language. You should hyper focus all of your anger and animosity towards them. This is an incredibly beneficial take for all of these big businesses, and that's precisely why the wealthiest billionaire on the fucking planet is highlighting Asmongold with regular fucking frequency. But none of that actually causes people to go, wait a minute, why is Elon Musk actually consistently promoting Asmongold? Who is more big business than fucking Elon Musk? Elon Musk is the pro-capitalist forces personified, right? He's the wealthiest billionaire on the fucking planet. What are we talking about? He just keeps posting this clip over and over again. Popular streamer Asmongold calls for the denaturalization and deportation of entire Somali families over Minnesota fraud. He also wants Tim Walz charged with treason. Do you think Elon Musk is actually anti-fraud? Elon Musk would not be the wealthiest billionaire on the planet if it wasn't for unlimited subsidies that he's gotten from the government and demand more of it with regular frequency. That's a big part of how he has made his wealth. Okay? This is a distraction that benefits people like Elon Musk. This allows people to basically turn around and say, it's not me. I'm not the one who's fucking your life up. As one of the wealthiest motherfuckers on the planet, the wealthiest motherfucker on the planet is actually the random Somali people that are fucking your life up. And a lot of people, unfortunately, fall for it. Okay? If Asmongold was truly anti-big business, right? If Asmongold truly was anti-fraud, or if he was truly anti-big business, he would recognize that big business thrives when you develop enmity towards those who don't look the same as you, right? And then you justify this two-tier immigration system. You continue this two-tier immigration system. Because the reality of the matter is, these guys are not more racist than they are capitalist, okay? There are some who are more racist than they're capitalist, but for the time being, Donald Trump, once again, as I correctly predicted last year, when I said he's not going to do these mass deportations in the way that he claimed he was going to do, because it's obviously very harmful to capital interests. So he's not going to do that at all. He's just going to fucking do a couple deportations and, you know, accelerate it, obviously, and strike fear in the hearts of migrant communities in this country. And then eventually people are going to get frustrated with that. And that's precisely where we're at right now. But the reason why he wasn't going to actually do mass deportations and mass exile in the way that he claimed he was going to do is because it would destroy the entire American economy. And I promise you, the moment that you can't get your fucking treats for the same price point that you're comfortable getting them, you would revolt. But nobody wants to think about who's picking those treats, okay? Who's picking those crops at the farms? Who's playing a role in building these buildings all around the country? The correct way to solve this issue is to ensure that there isn't a two-tier immigration structure, because a two-tier immigration structure, as long as there's hatred towards undocumented migrants, is what is beneficial for these companies, because at the end of the day, they understand that they're never going to get punished for hiring undocumented workers. That's the whole point of the system. The whole point of the system is to hire undocumented workers and then shit on them over and over again. So no one actually fucking decides to document these people. Okay? Because if they do, then their bottom lines are going to be in threat. They're going to be under scrutiny. The system is designed this way. That's why I get very frustrated with people who do this fake populist bullshit, okay? People who do this fake populist bullshit while simultaneously leaning into the propaganda that billionaires and millionaires and capitalists are actually leaning into as aggressively as possible. Anytime you think the real problem is just another person, your neighbor. And in the case of the Somali migrants that we're talking about, they're all American citizens. 60% of them are natural-born U.S. citizens. 90% overall are naturalized and natural-born U.S. citizens, so they have American citizenship. When you actually put the beat on those guys and say, nope, these guys are all bad, you're doing the bidding of the likes of Elon Musk, and that's precisely the reason why they love this shit and they pump it all day, every day. Any moment spent thinking that other people in this country, undocumented migrants in this country, or documented migrants of a different background than yours, is actually causing you harm, any moment that you spend on that silly ass fucking notion and not realize that it is actually the real power players here, people like Elon Musk, billionaires, millionaires, and big corporations that are actually dominating your lives, is a moment that you're defending them. Then it is war. 300K likes. Breaking, Somali TikToker threatens Elon Musk's life. I wouldn't worry too much about him. He about to die. Protect Elon Musk at all costs. Then it is war. This is like a fucking random TikToker, man. You're the wealthiest person on the fucking planet. What do you mean this is war? Is there a reason we don't think that people like Asmongold is being paid by capital to push this shit? No, there are always going to be useful idiots in general. Or not even useful idiots necessarily, but useful idiots that that know that there is a lot of clout that you can gain, a lot of prominence that you can farm off of this when you have the wealthiest person on the planet who owns his own social media platform promoting you. When you say stuff like this, when you play along with their goals, when you shift people's attention away from the corporate oligopoly, constant corporate consolidation, endless amounts of lobbying, endless amounts of subsidies that they accrue as a consequence of endless amounts of lobbying, and you just redirect that attention back to random people, your neighbors, your communities, and decide whole cloth that every single person, Okay, every single person that is coming from like a Somali background is actually engaging in some level of fucking fraud. It makes the real fraudsters get away with it in broad daylight. The biggest fraudster of all time is Elon Musk. Any moment that you spend not shitting on people like Elon Musk is a moment where people like Elon Musk get away with it. So you can keep saying, oh, I hate big corporations and engage in this fake populism, this empty populism, or as I like to call it, sloppulism, right? But every moment that you do that, while simultaneously shifting the anxieties and the anger and resentment people feel towards, you know, entire whole swaths of the population that have been living here for decades at this point, right, is a moment where Elon Musk gets to keep stealing. It's the LBJ quote that you can slam in here every single time. Not LeBron James, of course. I'm talking about LBJ, the president, okay? If you can convince the lowest white man that he is better than the best colored man, he won't notice you're picking his pocket. Hell, give him somebody to look down on, and he'll empty his pockets for you. That's it. That's it. That's what's going on. All of this other stuff is just culture war. Yeah, the enemy is the 1%. It's the billionaires versus the rest of us. MAGA keeps distracting us with culture wars as they drink all of our milkshake. And that's precisely what's happening here, okay? America's 15 richest billionaires got $1 trillion richer as the affordability crisis became a top concern in 2025. And you're out here fucking complaining. You're out here complaining. You think like the Somalis are the top 1%. This is how it's been. And the more you focus on undocumented migrants who are stealing our jobs and also stealing our welfare, the more you lean into this dumb shit, okay? The more you hyper-focus on this element of fraud and not fraud being tackled in its entirety, which would require us to take a closer look at these guys as well, because they are the biggest fraudsters, right? Any moment that you're hyper-focusing on that, you're doing their bidding. I cannot believe it. I cannot believe how successful this commentary actually is. And it's so successful that people literally do it even in this chat where they'll go, oh, you're talking about billionaires and millionaires. Aren't you a millionaire? Like, it's so fucking stupid. There it is.
Identity politics, and distorted it into allowing in a bunch of unskilled laborers, and now we're paying for it.
Identity politics is not about like defending unskilled laborers, brother. What the fuck? Oh my God. Unskilled laborers too. Oh my God. Unskilled labor is bullshit, okay? These people play an incredibly important role in the productive forces. It's necessary labor, okay? Like, it's additionally funny for a fucking Twitch streamer to say this, you know? This is the ultimate says you moment. Bitch, what kind of skill do you have? At least I recognize that I'm not actually a part of the productive forces engaging in socially necessary labor here. I'm a Twitch streamer. It's crazy to me to have the audacity to say this kind of stuff.
That's how it happened. And if I don't know why people don't understand. I think that people don't want to admit that they got, but people have been got. They totally got. They slowly boiled us. Yeah, I mean, that's what I think has happened. Anyway, what's this?
Guys, the owner's son just said that his lawyer said that they're not allowed to talk to us.
Oh. Oh, I forgot they have the signs up because they can't figure out how to change the letters.
This is the property of the restaurant, right?
Uh-huh.
Is this property of the daycare or the restaurant?
Let me turn this up a little bit.
Yeah, but yesterday I got some takeout from Albi Kitchen, and so I'm allowed to be here. Because this is
Close
the kitchen's
door.
parking lot.
Yeah.
Don't take the camera. Go over there if you want. Please.
But I ordered some food from Albi Kitchen, and this is the kitchen's...
I just noticed. Do you know what's not in this video at all? There's no parents walking to and from the daycare at all. I know this is just a 1-minute video, but it's important to keep that in mind.
parking lot.
This is my property. Please go
No
over
kids
Oh, you're the
again.
owner?
there. Please go over there.
Are you the owner? Are you the owner of the property?
Go over there.
Oh, okay. Are you also the owner of Quality Learning?
I don't want to talk. Go.
It seems like you want to talk. Seems like he wants to talk. He must have. It must be lonely just standing there, yelling at people all day.
Yep.
I think he does want to talk. I wonder, what's the border? Can I stand here?
This response applies to Asmon's ideology. You don't need to engage with other people if you don't want to, according to him. Yeah, of course. But when the person is of Somali background, obviously then harassing them and loitering around their property alongside hundreds of other fucking clout goblins is totally appropriate, totally valid.
Can't be able to do anything.
Is this
Yeah.
okay? Can I be right here?
They covered the sign? Did they really? Let me see. What a bunch of fucking retards, man. Oh my god.
Is this okay? Can I be right here?
Yeah, why am I not surprised?
Can I stand here?
This is just for views? It is just for views, but I do think that... Isn't it weird that...
Where's the senior citizens?
Oh, yeah, we just watched him do this. Clicks on video. Yeah, dude, this video makes a pretty good point. Yeah, that's pretty true. Pause the video. What he just said is really true, actually. Unpause and nods along more. Yeah. People who watch and donate money to this nonsense need to be culled. Yeah, he does have the... He does often have a tendency to along with everybody, actually, about this thing. It's so funny. Yeah, based.
And also, I don't feel bad for these guys. I really don't. You shouldn't have been scamming. And now you have all Americans everywhere coming in here trying to figure out what's actually going on.
Dog, if they are scamming, let the actual investigators conduct a investigation. What the fuck? This is not how this goes, man. This is not how anything goes. This is just pure fucking anarchy. What are we doing
on here? The sign was fixed a few days ago. It actually says Learning Center now. Well,
Trump pardoning the guy guilty of billions in Medicare fraud. This is fine, but little girl speaking,
no
oh hell no.
response for this at all. That's crazy. Wow, that's sad. Really, is you got people like this. You just ask a simple question, you can't even answer the question. Oh, okay, he typed something. What do you type? I hear a lot about this girl in the immigrant community. I guess you're worried about the fraud from Trump has ever conducted himself. No, now you're changing what you're saying. When did I ever say that I was okay, or that the guy pardoning him is fine? Like, what do you think that I think about that? It's a simple question.
Yeah.
Like, you're talking about some other shit. I asked you a simple question. Why can't you just answer the question?
Oh no, you're getting people.
Shit around.
You're getting wait.
When did I ever say that?
Wait.
You're gonna put words in my mouth and get mad at him. I mean, like,
oh shit, you don't like it when other people do this to you. Damn. This is professionally what you do to me.
You want to demonize an immigrant community when you lose sight of the real issues in this country? Yeah, because they're scamming us. That's what's happening. I mean, are they not scamming?
How much time and emphasis has Asmongold placed on criticizing Big Daddy Trump,
if somebody
pardoning all these fucking fraudsters?
No, it's not changing shit around. It's paying attention to real problems. So let me get this straight. You don't think that it's a real problem that you have an entire community in an area that's defrauding the government for billions of dollars? You don't think that's a problem?
Type in chat. He claims you're a mod. No, I can't. I got banned in his chat. Look. Oh,
really?
wait. They unbanned me.
That, like,
I'm a VIP now. They unbanned me, I guess. I was banned until like recently.
Of their country.
I used to be a mod.
I untimed him out. It's okay.
He unbanned me.
I mean, doesn't that seem odd? He's arguing with the optics of your opinion, not the opinion. Yeah, I don't give a shit about, like, oh wow, it's an immigrant community. I don't give a shit about that. Why would I care about that? They're scamming.
I like that it's now all Somalis and not the specific people doing the fraud. Interesting. I mean, it's always been the case. That's always been what it is. When someone actually directly asks that question, though, he'll be like, oh, well, you know, I'm just talking about the people who are doing it. I'm just talking about the people who I'm suspecting of doing it. Okay? But that's what it is.
What do you think I would want to do with them? Jail? No. Fraud in any capacity is bad, but to shine a light on a community that's a little drop in a bucket compared to the actual fraud going on Tether is misled because people like you in the media pick up attack these different communities. So is it bad or so it's bad? Okay,
everybody thinks it's bad when fraud is happening. whether it's a Somali American doing it or a white American doing it, your hyper focus and your priorities and the way that you talk about it, obviously, makes it seem as though you feel the entire Somali American community is responsible for this fraud. And it's a misdirection. It's a distraction away from the fraudsters in the admin.
Huge problem with these Somalian daycares and healthcare centers scamming money from the Minnesota government. Do you think this is happening?
I mean, if he's getting dunked on by chatters, of course he's not going to try to fucking have a conversation with me.
No, do you think it's happening? Why don't you go after the real fraud? I have many times. I've talked about it many times.
Really?
You're jousting with windmills. You're arguing with something that didn't happen. Do you think it's happening or not in Minnesota?
Yeah. This is so here's what's going on, okay? As soon as he is asked about his positions, he has to back into a much more reasonable position. Yes, fraud has taken place. Yes, the defendants in an ongoing fraud investigation were Somali Americans, right? This is true. This is real. Except what has been going on for the last 48 hours, for the last 76 hours in the media cycle is not specifically the investigation that took place. It's the notion that every single Somali is responsible. Every single Somali business is victim to unlimited harassment now
of other communities doing
and
the
he
same
just keeps
thing.
shifting
So,
back and
for
forth
example, when
to
you
try to
see
present an
the
argument that it's
it's a
actually the
representative
grifter
sample
third
of
worlders
the
that are
actual
parasitic, that are just here
Now,
to steal
I don't know if you've ever been
American
around-
funds.
I don't want to read this anymore, Hasan. You're 100%. Yeah, there's fraud in every instance of government. You're right. You're totally right about that. Most definitely. That also includes the immigrant. No. And this is also not. Let me go back and I want to make sure that we get this nailed down. Do you think that there is a very clear instance of a lot of these Somalian-owned daycares and businesses that are defrauding Minnesota? This is a yes or no question. Do you think that
You
this
don't
is
know
happening
that.
or not?
There is currently, as it stands, no evidence has been presented beyond just going and knocking on their doors and screaming to see the children.
Expensive a year. How long is Somali fraud in comparison to federal benefits you put out annually? A lot. And I bet if you go after that fraud, you're going to find more of it.
The real question in this circumstance is, do you have any hard evidence as to
this
all
is
of these
always what
businesses
people
that are
like to
being
do. You
visited
can't even argue
that are
it's not a
engaging in a
bad
type
thing.
of fraud
You're just
that
trying to bring
that
up
people are
something
claiming they're
else.
engaging
The
in?
reason
As
why
in,
you're
there
trying
are
to
no
bring up
children there.
something
There have
else
never been children
is
there. They're
because
simply
what I'm
lying about the
talking
head
about
count
is inconvenient
and
for
doing
you
it so they
politically.
can get money. No
So you
child
don't
is ever
really
being
give a shit
taken
about
care
the
of.
fraud.
It's simply a
You
way
don't
to
care
make
about
money.
this at all. That's why whenever I ask you, like, is this happening, you're reframing my question and then answering something I didn't ask. So no, what about this? What about that? What about this other thing? Listen, like, I don't like any of it. It's obvious that this isn't a problem. So yeah, guy's a fucking retard, of course. And
Wait, that's crazy. Why are the people that are coming after him in his chat infinitely nicer in their back and forth conversation than his fans that come in here? When his fans come in here, they're like, why are you a terrorist, dog abuser, piece of shit? You need to die. And like when he actually has people that call into question his worldview, it's always like much nicer. It's like walking through it step by step. I guess his fans are just much smarter
a
than he is.
Democrat
That's
or a
probably what it is.
leftist or a liberal, they'd be making excuses for it. They don't give a fuck about it. The only reason why they're bringing it up is they're trying to create an artificial parody. It's the same reason, you remember, like, whenever they started trying, they were talking about, oh, they're going to prosecute Hunter Biden, and, oh, well, we want to make sure everybody's treated the same under the law. But then at the end of the day, on the last day of Biden's presidency, Hunter Biden gets a presidential pardon that's like a blank check for the last 10 years. The reason why is because they were doing that in order to create an artificial parody between the way that Trump was being treated by the justice system and also by the way Hunter Biden was being treated by the justice system. So they only did that as a show. They don't really care about the rules.
That's insane.
They don't really care about any
Donald
of this.
Trump has
So to the
infinitely
extent that you
more
engage with them as if they're concerns
instances
and
of
their
criminality that
criticism is legitimate,
wasn't even
you
prosecuted because he
lose
became
you're
the fucking
playing a
president,
game.
as opposed to Hunter Biden. Okay, Biden or Biden's pardon at all. Who gives a fuck? Yeah, Biden sucks, and so does Hunter Biden. But the notion that Hunter Biden is like, it reaches the same degree of criminality as Donald Trump, who was a pivotal figure in January 6th, or even the people who did January 6th, who were all pardoned. That's ridiculous.
I'm gonna pull. You're gonna get pulled up too.
Let's see what this guy's saying. Do you have any
Do you
evidence that
think
there's
that's-
100%
do you
fraud
think it's
happening, or
weird that
there's
they-
some
like, do
YouTubers
you
coming
think
in
that
and
they're
asking to see
going and
kids?
there's
Not
anything
saying that there
weird
isn't
about them
evidence.
asking to see the kids? Is that you're saying this is like something about how, oh well, you're trying to see the kids? Why are you saying see the kids? Do you think that there was anything malicious or problematic or bad, that they had any sort of like weird intentions with trying to see the kids?
Yes. You can't roll up to a fucking childcare facility, whether there are children there at that moment or not, and demand to see the children, and then assume that this is like conclusive evidence that there's no kids there.
That's manipulation. No, we'll listen to what he's saying. It's okay. There's legit tons of the issues, and yes, I think that. So you think that you think Nick Shirley is like, what do you think? He's like a pedophile?
That's not the argument.
You think he's like a pedophile?
It could be. We don't know. I have just as much evidence of Nick's pedophilia as I do of Nick presenting evidence that these places are doing fraud. Now, later down the line, some of these places might actually be proven to be fraudulent, but that doesn't mean that Nick actually presented any evidence to suggest that they are.
You can't just roll up to a child facility, ask to see kids. He could be.
Yeah, he could be a pedo. I don't know. That's the whole point.
I've never known the guy.
That's the whole point.
Sure
he
seems
could
like
be
you
a
do.
pedophile. You don't
And so
know.
anyway,
That's part of the
so
reason
this
why
is
you don't
what
let
happens,
random
right?
fucking let
And the
random
reason why I
adults
asked
into an
this
area
question
where
is because
you,
I
as
knew
another
that it would
adult,
reveal
that
the
is
dishonesty.
you as another adult
This
is a
person
guardian
who
of the
thinks that Nick
state
Shirley is a
over
pedophile because
other
he's
people's
trying to
children.
investigate a daycare. You don't actually think that. You know that's not true.
What?
It's
He
obviously
doesn't know.
not true. But you're just saying it because it's something that sounds bad. It's because you've used the term racist so many times. You've said racist 1,000 fucking times. You never said that? He never said that?
Just as much
Guys,
evidence
was he implying that Nick
for
Shirley had
these
some sort of bad, ulterior,
daycares
weird,
being
fucked up intentions? Was he
as
the first
having
question? He obviously
no
was.
children
Do not allow yourself to
that
be gaslit by people
chatter
that want to lie and manipulate
presented
you.
for him.
It's obvious
for
what
Nick
you're doing with language.
being a
and
pedo.
anybody with over a
What is
90
it?
IQ
Zach
can
Raw,
see it.
right?
It's so obvious.
I said that last
These
chatter wasn't wrong.
tricks
Nick presented
might
just as
work
much evidence for
on,
these
I don't
daycares having no
know,
children as that chatter
morons on
presented for
Twitter
Nick being a pedo.
And people that automatically
Why is
already
it?
agree with you.
Why is it? Your comparison is going to go over his head? No, I mean, seriously, if you believe Nick Shirley provided ample evidence, which is just, his own personal perspective, that these places are fraudulent, then anyone saying Nick Shirley is a pedophile is presenting the same level of fucking evidence. And not only that, but they're also, not only that, but imagine if you went to wherever Nick Shirley was living in, like his home or the place that he works at, with a camera crew and consistently fucking talking about
Any sort of principle. They don't have any actual argument at all. All they're trying to do is create weird insinuations and other misrepresentations in order to push an agenda that is supposedly trying to make people not think what's obviously in front of them.
his chat
It's
is noticing
deflection.
I'm
Yeah, they're
in there,
deflecting
but
these
he doesn't want to
imaginary
notice
accusations.
it.
This is a 23-year-old Mormon, and you have a bunch of weirdos like that on Twitter that are trying to paint him out as a pedophile. I mean, really, if you take a step back and you think about how deranged and weird that is, it's insane.
I'm not kidding when I say this. We have more evidence to suggest that Nick is a pedophile than all of these daycares having 0 children in them. Because we have evidence that Nick is trying to see children inside of daycare facilities with a camera. Okay? That is, unironically, more evidence of Nick's potential pedophilia than any evidence that he has presented about these daycare facilities engaging in the type of fraud that Nick Shirley was trying to claim that they were engaging in.
There's like 50 houses of these people that have a daycare, and then you can't enroll any of them. You're going in, and these people do not even speak English in a lot of cases. The phone number goes to the government office. Let's see here. Oh, the amount of kids there is not even 1/4 of what their occupancy is. and you add in all of these things together, please, you don't have to die on this hill. It's so obviously fraud. Any rational, reasonable person knows that it's fraud. It is. I don't know what else to say. Give me 1 second. I use the bathroom. Actually,
You don't know what else to say because you don't have an argument.
excuse me.
I'm saying you
That's a
don't have
bogey,
any
man. No,
evidence
it's obviously
for
the
any of
reason
that.
why,
I'm not
like, I mean,
against
I
that
don't know
being the
why
case. Nick
Hasan
never
gets so
presented any of that.
hyper-fixated on
Once again,
defending these fraudulent communities. Like Hasan and I have a lot of common ground with things like public education, free health care, all of these other things. Like he and I agree on all of these things, but you're constantly simping for these toxic, parasitic immigrant communities that are coming over here trying to defraud us. Like you really, I mean, like somebody broke into the building and they just happened to steal all of the documentation. Like, I mean, how can you even for 1 second believe that that's not an immediate fucking scam? Like,
see, this is what I mean. He doesn't know. He doesn't know how this process works.
Thinking like
He doesn't know how this process works. He thinks that that documentation is the only way to conclusively prove that there's like fraud happening there or not, implying that that documentation was actually stolen by the business owner himself. Once again, the government has access to every single person and every single child's information. That's not the only form of evidence that the government has. The reality of the matter is, if they wanted to prosecute that place, as I'm sure they will,
being dishonest?
right?
Yeah, it's
They'll
so obvious.
investigate the
I mean, what about the fact
theft
that they
that
were
took place.
investigated again? Your place gets broken into, and then they happen to steal all the records. I'm sorry, but if you think that's anything besides fraud,
Do you think that
you
those
have
records are the
departed
only
from
way
reality.
to
Please stop
investigate
doing this.
this
I
place?
also want universal health care.
Do you
I
realize
also
how
want to have
any
a degree
of
better
these
treatment for everybody.
programs work?
I also want to expand social systems, but we
Once
can't
again,
do that in
not-
America if you keep
Once
importing
again,
people
not
that are net
saying
negatives
this
and
isn't
scammers.
the case.
You can't do it.
You
can
just
have mass
you are
migration of
simply
third worlders,
speculating.
or you can have robust social systems. Choose. Now, in my opinion,
Do you
the
think
world
that those
I wanna
records are the
live
only
in
way to investigate
is
this
the
place?
world
Do you
with the
realize
robust
how
social
any of these
systems
programs work?
for
Once again, not
America.
saying this isn't the case. You are simply speculating.
If you don't like that, too bad. So anyway, listen, let me go back down. I'll look at a few more of these. Worked in 20 years in law enforcement. Never in my years have I come across a case where they break in and just steal documents. It's obvious. It's obvious. Like, but there's no evidence. There's no evidence. Like, do you think they're going to just come out and say, I'm scamming? Like,
Update
what
for
do you think
CNN
is
law
gonna
enforcement.
happen?
Child care centers at
You
the
have
center
to
of Nick
look at
Shirley's
the
video
different
were operating as
situation,
expected when
and
visited
you
by
have to look at
investigators
all
of the
the
Minnesota
different
Department
points
of
in
Children,
it
Youth, and
and
Family
say,
said
hey,
children were
listen,
present on all sites
all
except
these
for one.
things
That
don't add
site
up.
was not yet open. The agency gathered evidence and initiated further
The answer-
review,
okay,
noting the
I'll
investigation
list-
into 4
I'll read
senators
one
were
more, okay?
ongoing. The report by Minneapolis DCYF
Hasan
said.
has been reduced to being a chatter. Do you think the records are only way to investigate the place to realize any of the programs work? Once again, I'm not saying this case. You're just simply speculating. Okay.
The government has access to the
Hasan.
information of every single parent, and not only every single parent,
All right.
but
You're getting
also
pulled up. What do you
government
think the
has
probability is
access
that these
to the
businesses
info
are
of
scammers?
all children and their parents'
think the probability
financial
If you had
status.
to guess between 1 and 100. If you had to guess.
What did he ask? I didn't even hear it. What did he say?
Government access to all the infants and children and parents' financial status? Exactly. The government's in on it. That's why they should be charged too as accomplices. What's the percentage?
Actually believes that. Then wait, what do you mean? What's the percentage?
Sorry. I read
These
something.
places have
What's the percentage?
income qualifications. They can't
Bro, their daycare is their
Yeah.
own house.
subsidies
I know.
without the government looking at the parents' background. This would. What is this? Hasan, percentage of speculation? What is the question that he asked me? These places have income qualifications. They can't get subsidies without the government looking at the parents' background.
We'll give it a little bit longer.
What was the question he asked?
We'll give it a little bit longer. But no, I think he does bring up a good point. The government does have access to this. That's why
Immediately,
there
the
has to be a
first-
federal investigation. I think that what's happening is that they're directing the federal government to not go after these people because they want to secure
Why
the
don't we
votes from
talk-
this community. I think that's what's happening.
Why don't we talk then
You have to check with the chat first. I mean, I feel
I'm
like it's such a
too
simple question.
boomer
Right? What's the
to
probability of
type
it being a scam?
fast.
Why don't we talk then? No, I'm not. We're not gonna. Oh my god, bro, you're in the chat. Can you stop?
Are you worried?
Oh my god.
We agree. No.
It's just a simple percentage.
Stop begging.
Jesus. No,
really?
I'm not going to debate. I'm not going to go and argue with you about this or whatever. Because again, if you look at all of the evidence presented and you don't come to the conclusion that there is like a 99% chance that this is a scam, you're lying. You're lying. You're obviously lying. It's so clear.
Uh-oh. They're all saying he's a pussy now. Uh-oh.
Such a debate. Yeah, it's not a debate. That's why I asked about the percentage.
What is the question that he asked me about the percentage? I didn't hear it. What was the question?
Like his space. No, it's okay. It's he's a communist, right? Everybody gets their own space.
What was the question about the percentage?
He can't. It's against his beliefs. He answered.
Speculate
did he?
on the probability
It
of
refresh.
fraud?
Let me see if it did. Kind of feels like you don't want to dunk on me easy style. No, I just don't like debating. I don't debate about video games. And again, you're going to try and do the strategy. Listen, Hasan, you are the Jake Paul of debates. You have no problem gassing yourself up, talking about how much you want to debate me or debate some other, as you like to call them, slop tuber.
Watch. He's going to say
But
Destiny.
whenever it comes time to debate Ben Shapiro on capitalism or debate Destiny, for some reason,
I
you
do
don't
want
really
to
have
debate
that
Ben
same
Shapiro.
attitude. So I don't really want to hear about, oh yeah, I want to debate you. You're going to come in and be the big guy and everything like that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro.
You're being
Barry
the
Weiss
Jake Paul
pulled it very
debates.
publicly. I don't know why. I don't know
you know
why
it.
you're saying that.
I did want to debate Ben Shapiro. Barry Weiss pulled it. Because they wanted to debate on something else.
Oh, Barry
You
Weiss
want to debate
publicly
on
said
issue.
I need
Did
to be
you see? Here, let me ask him
deplatformed.
something. Hasan, did you see what I said about that?
I need to be deplatformed.
Because I did
Lamau.
cover it. I talked about it. Did you see it? Barry Weiss publicly said I needed to be deplatformed. Yeah, but did you see what I said?
No, I didn't see what the fuck he said. Again, he's only able to talk because he can at least control the narrative a little bit in this circumstance. But he can't control it if we're having a back and forth conversation. Even a couple statements
I think
immediately
that,
cause him to
Hasan
back away
thinks
from his
that
initial
fraud's an
claims,
issue.
right?
I think
And this
fraud's
is
an
the
issue.
reason why he wants to control the narrative. He wants to make sure that, like,
I think
at
that
most
upon
he will respond to me
investigation,
chatting
we will
in his
find
chat.
out that this
Okay?
fraud is probably so much worse than you can even imagine. Fraud is insanely fucking bad. And I don't think that it's just with these daycares. I think it is with the entire fucking government, healthcare. It's with healthcare. It's with health and human services. It's with food stamps. It's with
a
welfare.
byproduct of
It's with tax write-offs.
public,
It is
private
with fucking
partnerships.
everything. And if we had in my
want
opinion,
it
I
all
think that we are
to
spending
be
close to, if
combated.
not over, $1 trillion on
timed
fraud
out?
every single year. And if you
What
don't
the
believe
fuck?
me, timed out. What is this here? I think Minnesota fraud is abysmal, a byproduct of private partnerships. I want it all to be
man's
combated.
spamming.
Okay, good. Then that's fine. Great. Then we're on the same side.
Hyper focusing
Stop trying
on
to make this an argument about some bullshit.
claiming that
Like, okay, great, good.
third
We're on the
world
same side. That's amazing. I'm happy.
parasites
Good.
are the
Already
claiming
watched you
that
show
third
this.
world
Which one is it?
parasites
It's not.
are
Is it
coming
other
in
content
to
creators of
do
Oh, here we go.
fraud.
Yes, and no, I might look at this in a minute. But
Claiming that
anyway,
third world
yes,
parasites
of
are coming
course
in to
the
do
fraud should be
fraud
investigated.
is
Absolutely,
the
it should.
issue
All
I
I'm
have
saying is that
with
I think that it is
your
so
claim.
much worse than what people realize. Like, I grew up, I don't know really,
Hasan
like
is
Hasan was in
garbage,
Turkey
trash.
for a while. I'm claiming that third world parasites are coming to do fraud is the issue I have with your claim.
The
then maybe
overwhelming
they should stop doing it.
majority of
considered that?
migrants
Claiming
just
third world
want
parasites
to
are coming in to do fraud.
exist and work alongside
then maybe they should stop
everyone
doing it.
else. There will always
When
be
these people go and
fraudsters,
they advocate for racial,
and they
racial
should
ethnic voting,
be jailed.
they stay inside of their own community. They don't assimilate into America.
That's
they
not,
send
none of this
money
is true.
back home
None of,
to
now he's just
Somalia
all,
that funds
this
terrorism.
is all just made up shit.
And then on top of that, there will always be fraudsters. They should be jailed, of course. The only majority of migrants just want to exist and work alongside everyone else.
You're
Okay, great. Well, if you think that, then why are you trying to lump in
that
and
they-
then take the? Oh, jeez, I'm debating with Hasan now. I just
You're
realized
claiming
you got
they're
me.
coming
You actually
to
got
do
me.
fraud.
Okay, I can't.
You
I said it was
have
like two
no
messages.
evidence
I've actually fucking Jesus fucking
of
Christ.
Migrants
Okay,
coming to do
one more,
fraud.
and then I'm gonna move on. Okay, you got baited. No, I've been baited. He did get me. So okay, all the migrants want to work alongside everybody else. That's great. That's lovely. That's amazing. That's really nice. So don't launder the good reputation of all those migrants that want to look good and work with everybody else and have no problems. Don't launder their reputation through these Somalian scammers. Don't do it, because I agree with you.
Doing that.
You know I'm not anti-immigration.
You're
I'm
the
not
only
pro-migrant.
one
I think some people should be able to come over here for
these
sure, but it needs to be in the best interest of
third
American citizens. And right now it's not.
parasites
When you have these people
are
come
coming
in and they're
in to
scamming the
do
system, they're getting these
fraud.
massive amounts of welfare. It's going to a private daycare in their own fucking house. They
I
have
like
a
that
massive
he is,
house.
by the way, he
It's
is
a
just like
huge
working
problem,
his
man.
way up to just describing how
Think about
racism
much
works,
people-
right?
How many people we could help that are Americans if we were able to take that money and give it to them. And I'm not saying I hate Somalians. I don't hate any of that. You want to say third world parasites coming to do fraud? Yeah, exactly, because they are. What else do you call it? 89% are on welfare. What the fuck is that? Why are we bringing people in just so we can give them welfare? We have people here that are on welfare. I drove by I was like on the
They're
highway.
American citizens.
I'm driving by on the highway. I see a homeless veteran on the highway. He's got a sign painted the American flag. I've got to see this guy live on the street while they're living in a mansion. This isn't fair. And now I'm debating again.
They're
It's
American
not.
citizens, number one. I don't even know if the 89
Listen,
claim is correct or not, for the
Stop
record.
defending the indefensible. What you guys are doing right now is the same as you were criticizing MAGA people for doing for Epstein.
Manning my argument.
Not everything has two sides. Same way that I supported and I agreed with you with what you were saying with Epstein. I'm
As
not.
I've
You're
said
strawmanning my argument.
on-
Well, you're mad at the way that I'm saying it. I don't think it really
I'm
matters.
not
Personally, you want to say it
really
matters. I
mad.
don't really give a
You
shit.
can see me
The point is the
typing.
problem.
I'm not even going to say that. I'm just
Yeah.
going to say
They're not
no.
healing anything you say, and you can't type and listen at the same time. Sure. And anyway, just stop debating. That's what he does. Just stop talking to him. Yes,
his
exactly.
whole audience is like, stop
So-
debating him, stop debating him. I wonder why.
No,
I wonder why they're
if
upset.
you go and you see any of this stuff, you go around in Austin or anything else, it is really, really bad. And I think that you're right that the Somali thing is not that big. It is the tip of the iceberg.
Oh!
It is not even the tip of the iceberg. It is the seagull on the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, interesting.
It is massive.
Because you've spent 76
It's in the
hours
military.
just talking about third world
it's
parasites.
in the IRS. It's
Every
in food stamps.
moment
It's in
that
everything.
you spend implying
And it shouldn't be defended
that
just because it's a bunch of
immigrants
people that are
are
migrants or immigrants or
coming
from any other
in
community.
to do fraud.
But to say that there is not a
by
problem with bringing in a
pointing
bunch of people that are
to
89%
a
on some sort of welfare,
hyper-specific
that's a problem.
instance of fraud
Listen,
done by Somalis,
it's fucking
done
fraud.
in let's say
If you
in
don't see, oh yeah, somebody
Minnesota,
broke into the building.
is a
and they
moment
stole all the documents.
You're doing Elon's
yeah, I wonder why.
propaganda for him.
Anyway, so yes,
Every moment that you spend implying that immigrants are coming in as a
of
fraud
course
done
it's
by
a lie.
done in Minnesota is a
Absolutely
moment
it
you're
is.
doing Elon's
They can't
propaganda
wrap
for
their
him.
head around the idea
Elon
that you're
Musk
going
is
after
the
all the
immigrant
fraud
that
regardless
is
of
doing
who's committing
fraud.
it.
Elon
Well,
Musk
I think that really, if there are people defending
the
this that
real
were not,
parasite
people
here,
like Americans
but
doing this, or
you're
like some random
worried
Mormon
about
community doing this, I think that everybody would be,
upsetting him, I think.
together agreeing that it's very bad. But because it's a minority community that is an immigrant community, there are people that are just,
He's not reading it, but Chad is.
categorically defending them for that reason.
That 89% is false. Probing Trump's verbal attack on Somalis. 84% of
So
individuals
that's really
reporting
the main
Somali
problem.
ancestry in Minnesota, not just Somali.
but
wait,
they
what
live
is
the
this?
beautiful
We updated
man.
showed us. Provided to us
It's
showing
really just
84%
that
of
simple.
individuals reporting
And
Somali
if you're
ancestry in
okay
Minnesota,
with
not just
that,
Somali immigrants benefiting
I don't
from the
think
specific
that I
public
really have the
assistance, mostly
alignment
Medicaid.
there. I think there's a big problem.
Mute him when you talk, please. Wait, he's reading it. I think he's reading what I
Don't find a
said.
fraud like them. Yeah, I think there's a degree of that.
Have you
but,
ever
like,
seen an
are
episode of
you
Law and
really a
Order? Criminals
sucker?
often
That's
try
the
to
problem,
obscure
is that
evidence.
It's important to be able to find the fraud, but to put the blame on the people that are being defrauded, I think, is basically victim blaming. And that's the reason why you go to a CVS and everything's locked up. That's the entire reason why
Unban
you go to
me
a
and I'll
CVS,
donate to your
everything's
charity of
locked up in the
choice.
CVS. It's because all of these people like, oh yeah, well, you know, you shouldn't have done that. Absolutely not. Fuck that. How much percent of fraud do you think Somalis commit in the United States? Probably, I would say, less than 1 to 2%. Maybe actually, maybe a little bit higher than that.
Not even. That's
but
crazy.
Very, very like if you're asking like if it's a percentage,
That's insane.
A very, very low percent. I think that they are committing a very low percent. Now, per
Bro
capita,
can't debate
may
lost
be
to a
very
Jewish
high,
comedian, H3
but
Charlie Kirk or Ben
collectively,
Shapiro
it's
would
low.
annihilate him.
And
Well,
so
can't
the
do the
reason
Charlie
why-
Kirk
and
one
that's the
anymore,
thing,
but
right?
definitely
It's
down
like,
to
so
do Ben
why even
Shapiro.
defend it?
You guys
It's
can keep
obviously
fantasizing
bad.
about it, though.
But this is the reason why I supported Doge. Like, I feel like government wasting
Zach
money
Watcher
is just a
here,
huge
but I do
problem
think that it's
everywhere.
unfair that he can
It's
talk and you
obviously a
have to
problem.
type. Even if I disagree with you, he should talk to you. There we go.
They're pissed off at Elon Musk because he saved free speech and investigated fraud with Doge. Well, they didn't even do enough of that. Yeah, come on, man. The government are the ones enabling the
He's
fraud.
actively
yeah, so
trying
I think,
to.
and this
He's
is what's
actively trying to
happening,
move
right?
away from
So I
reading
think
my
this
comments
is part
now.
Of this is part of the reward structure. Is that the
I
government
respect
allows
you
this
trying to get a
fraud
dialogue
happen
going. Asman has
because
shown
they effectively
to his
want
audience he's a
buy the votes
coward.
from these
I think that there are definitely a lot of people in his audience that will look at this and think Asmongold is being a little cowardly. Is Kai still alive, bro? Show us the shock collar, bro. She's dead. I killed her.
two different versions of this, right? So there's the first
And I
where
think
they're
there
allowing
will
it
be
to
some
happen, and I
people,
think
there will be
that's
some people in there
the
that'll just like
higher level.
engage in
Then
self-soothing
there's also
behavior.
the other level
Engage in
where
self-soothing
the
behavior, especially because like the moment that we start talking, if you noticed, he said he agreed with me quite a bit. And that's precisely the problem here. He doesn't want to have a conversation where he will be forced to concede on a lot of the things, because a lot of the things that he said about what my positions are wrong. So if his audience saw what my actual position was here, and then actually he had to sit there and defend what he's saying in front of someone who is a little bit more knowledgeable about what's going on in Minnesota, he would have to fold, because immediately he would be like, well, yeah, we agree, as he did, right? You're getting really good at debating. I wonder how the Clippers are going to spin him ducking you. They'll say Asmongold destroyed Hasan or something like that. What is this? I watch you both for different reasons. What needs to happen is you listen to what he's saying now and actually respond later, because he's assuming you're listening even though you're engaging in your chat. Honest opinion. Why won't he just talk to me directly then? This is what doesn't make any sense, because I'm willing to have this conversation. He's the only one who doesn't want to have this conversation. And I think like
specific group, I think that for Somalians, like, yeah, they are voting as a block, but the reality is that this would happen anywhere. And I think that there is a unspoken rule kind of that keep the gravy going and we're going to keep voting for you. And it's ironically another version of Republicans cutting taxes for rich people and then rich people continuing to fund Republicans. So the problem really
the thing is
that
like
when
one
all
of my
these people
worst
are voting for
qualities
this
as
group,
far as
the
like
reason
debating
why
or
is
whatever,
because
one
this
of my
group
worst
is making
qualities
sure
is
and
unironically
increasing
that
the
I'm
wheels for
very
them to take advantage of the
you know, I'm
system.
very
And I think both
conciliatory
of
in
these
my
problems
tone
are
whenever I have this
substantial
kind of
and gigantic,
conversation with
and I don't
people,
think
even if
people
I
even realize
completely
how big
oppose
they
their
actually
worldview.
are.
So the irony is like
So that's
I
what I
wouldn't
would
be
say.
looking for easy dunks or anything like that. I just want to actively have
Yeah,
genuinely,
like
like,
fucked by both.
people
Yeah,
yell at me
exactly.
all the time in my own
Tyson
community. If
Foods
you're
imports
in here
workers to
for the
kill
first time
unions and
ever,
hires
you'll know
undocumented
this,
people
but
and helps them around the
people
law to
actually
hire them and
come
also
to my
work for them
community
all
and yell at me all the time because I always try to
Walmart
fucking
used to give
engage
people
in good faith when I
advice
have these
on
sorts of
how to
conversations.
sign up for
And I
food
think that
stamps
like
whenever they
clip
started-
farming as a meta actually destroys any kind of good faith that could potentially happen. It makes it much easier. It makes it much easier to frame your opposition's argument as something that it actually isn't, right? And that's what it is. Like, that's what he would rather continue to do. And the more I write in his chat, and the more that his community sees that, some will say it's good that you're actually not talking to him, King. We don't want you to feel insecure about your worldview. We don't want to feel insecure about our worldview. But there will be plenty of people who go, I think there should be open dialogue between the two, right? He talks about me every day. Yeah, there will be guys who go, Roach King 1, Hasan, Dog Abuser 0, you know?
It's still human trafficking and kidnapping. Yeah, I think so too. And I think that they need to take this is an issue. Maybe Hasan will agree with this. I think that they need to take the people that are employing these illegal aliens. They need to do a discovery process on their personal and work computers and correspondence surrounding work. And if any of them acknowledge or express a reality or a knowledge information that
But
they
the
are
solution
knowingly employing these illegal aliens, I would like to see them charged for human
documenting
trafficking. I
people
would, because that's
and
effectively what they're
then
doing. And until we have these business owners,
punishing
and I'm very frustrated about this.
business
You want me to be
owners,
honest that ICE is not doing that.
but
I think ICE should
shifting
also
the
be doing that, because
blame
I don't really, and this is another thing,
to
is that
the
I don't have any
migrants,
genuine animosity
migrant
for
workers,
Somalians. I don't have any genuine animosity for Mexicans or any other people from South
helps
America or the
the
Congo or Haiti or
owners
any of these people that are coming
get
over here, right?
away
I actually
with
don't.
the
I know a lot of other people do, and
two-tier
this is a
labor
contentious viewpoint that I have,
system
but my
that
viewpoint with it is actually very
depresses
simple. I don't
wages.
actually hate these people. I don't dislike
Stop it,
them.
you clown.
I just understand that they're coming here, and by doing so, they're causing us problems. But I don't view them as inherently bad or evil people. I don't disagree, but the solution is documenting people and then punishing business owners. But shifting the blame to migrant workers helps the owners get away with the two-tier labor system that depresses wages. Well, I think that really it's... So this is Hasan. That's Hasan said that. I agree with you. Actually, I do. I don't agree, because the migrant workers are definitely to blame to an extent. Like, you're talking about workers. We're not talking about Somalians at this point, right? It's the workers. I agree.
I said this is the problem with
because they
clip
wouldn't
watching,
be
because
coming
this is my
here
actual.
if- right. It's a carrot on a stick. You
Hasan
have
is
the
watching you,
donkey, you have
freaking
the
out. He's
horse.
such a bitch.
The
Wait, what?
horse
Am
is
I
coming to
freaking
the
out?
carrot. They're the ones putting the carrot out there. They're the ones that are creating the incentive for all of these people to come and overrun America and depress down all of our
What?
wages. And then here's the other big problem, is that these people come here, they have a bunch of kids.
think blaming
they also bring
people
sometimes their relatives. They're living off of the
for
government.
wanting
and
a better
effectively, especially
life.
through things.
Just like your
Sorry, I read something. Especially through things that are like
did when they came
that
here
totally distracted
is
me.
wrong.
Like food stamps, for example, or education system. They do cost the
helps
taxpayer a lot of money. These illegal aliens do.
billionaires
And they don't
keep
do it
this
directly, but they do it
current
also through things
broken
like identity
system
theft, which is extremely
alive.
common. Like, it was a very, like, I even knew people that knew people. I'm not going to get into specifics here, who would regularly go down to, Hasan's been to Austin. It's like Riverside. It's like the other side of I-35, right? It's like on the other side of like downtown.
Why is this go-to response? I
Tons of
agree, but
illegal
not
shit.
actually agreeing.
There
I don't
used to
know.
be. There's not as many now anymore.
I said I
But,
think blaming
like,
people for wanting a
there
better
used
life,
to
just
be
like a
so
great
many
grandparents
illegals
did when
there.
they came here, is
And so
wrong
you would
and
just
helps
go
the
over there,
billionaires
and
keep this
then
current
you would
broken
just take these
system
kids'
alive.
names and their social security numbers, and because the parents
Hasan
weren't filing
gay
tax
R word.
returns, other
Redeemed
people would file
highlighted
them that were
message.
citizens, they would take care of these kids, or sorry, not take care of. They would claim these kids to get extra tax refunds, and then split the refund money with the parents. And this is the kind of stuff that, unless you've seen this stuff happen, you don't even realize that it's happening. That's it. East 1st to 15th Street? Exactly.
It's so fucking frustrating to
there it
watch this.
is.
Exactly what the
Totally
conversation with
problematic.
Hasan
But the
realized they have more
business
common
owners-
ground than he
the
realizes.
business owners are the...
Nah, Hasan, they can get the
They
fuck out
are
of my country.
the
So can you go back to
genesis
Turkey?
of the migration. If it wasn't for the business owners paying these people under the table, they wouldn't be here. That's the facts. That's 100%
Hasan,
true. It happened to me.
mega
Yep,
gay
100%.
R word.
100% on that point as well. A lot of families still do this. Of course they would. Why would they not do this? And this is the problem that I have, is that I think that there are a lot of shared values and like common goals that even Hasan and I
This
have.
is how also this is how
should be
Asmongold
focused
presents
on
himself as like a
primarily.
reasonable centrist
These
for
are
the
big
record, I think.
problems. And
But
defending
he's libbing up.
Somalian fucking scams and this shit is
Very
it's
different
really
attitude
not a big
overall
deal,
than what he was
but
saying
it's an
yesterday.
indicative
You know what I mean?
problem
Like
of
the
a larger
parasitic
issue.
migrants and all this shit.
So yeah, I'd want to. Hopefully there can be an alignment
Since Hasan is
on
watching,
these
can
actual
we get a free guy
scams,
in the chat?
making sure that we have actual Americans, real Americans,
Yeah,
that
I mean,
are
I don't
getting
give a
this
shit.
money.
Yeah, free Kaya. I
Real
agree.
Americans. Imagine that.
We don't need immigrants. Our economy is not expanding fast enough. Current
Just
population, the
billions
American people
for,
struggling to
from
find
one
jobs. Oh
state.
my god,
yeah,
it's
billions
cope.
of
It's
dollars.
cope.
You really think it's the worst place is Minnesota? Give me a fucking break. We can also see what happens. You flood the market with new workers. Looking at the effect on women beginning to work. Yeah, I mean, I don't know all the details about that, but I could see that being the case. Sure. That's why I want you. Don't
need to be a
emotions are
chatter,
real
you need
focal
to
point.
check
I mean, the
logs.
thing is that if you want to deal with the problem, you have to approach it from like 10 different ways. You don't just approach it from one way. You have to over $1 billion. Those committing fraud in Minnesota will be caught and prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
There are no real Americans, which I meant. He meant the Europeans. Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, if you are
Tim Walz
anti-fraud,
doesn't get
as
arrested,
I am, you wouldn't be hyper-focusing on the
never
fucking...
voting for another Republican
the entire
until
Somali
somebody
community
that,
that you are suspecting of doing fraud, implying that every single Somali person that's come here is actually a third worldist like site, simply here to steal funds. Okay? That's it. The reality of the matter is, even in terms of like, keep pressing him, especially on the women going into the workforce, it destroys in his Chad's tradwife stance. I don't even know what he's talking about there. HasanAbi, you worked your entire life on your fake image just to destroy it all by shocking your dog, you R-word, bah ha 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 ha. Yeah, no, everyone hates me now. The thing about HasanAbi is that he's really like, and then, but also those, but then again, anyway, so that's kind of it. Nice. Wow, owned. He said women starting the working flood the market like immigrants. Wait, what? Let's see what else he's talking about.
Watch it, and then I got distracted. Where the fuck did it go? There was a video about this, and I don't know where the hell it is.
He banned me before I could answer his questions. Thanks for going in the chat. Look at what I was trying to get. Anyway, all right. Well, he's off talking about. A chatter implied if Adolf Slop played dumb to appease. Wait, what? Yeah. The point is, it's not 89% on welfare, it's only 8%. Scroll down and see the Somalis on welfare. No, they're saying that benefited from the specific public assistance program, mostly Medicaid. So it's not even like welfare in the sense that they think it is. It's just Medicaid, right? But worth noting, Bowser said 95% of Somalis in Minnesota are citizens of the United States and 58% of them were born in the U.S. Okay? February report from the Libertarian Cato Institute using a different methodology found that immigrants consume 21% less welfare and entitlement benefits than native-born Americans on a per capita basis in 2022. That report looked at the percentage of total dollar amount of spending on benefits for immigrants and U.S.-born residents and accounted fewer means-tested programs as welfare and also included Social Security and Medicare, which are considered entitlement programs. The CIS report said that in 2022, 54% of households headed by immigrants, including naturalized citizens, legal permanent residents, and people without legal status, use one or more major welfare program. The problem with this report is, do you believe that people who are naturalized citizens are American citizens? Do you believe that people who are born, okay, do you believe that people who are born with Somali ancestry but are born on U.S. soil are American citizens or not? Now, the reality of the matter is, for programs like the CIS, they try to claim that American citizens, natural-born U.S. citizens, are actually not real U.S. citizens because they were born to one or two families or one or two parents that are either undocumented or, not an American citizen at all. Okay? That's the issue. That's the problem. Those people are American citizens. And the entitlement programs are claiming that this is just welfare is also silly because it's like Medicaid, Medicare, Social Security, things like that. And the idea is like, what? What are we supposed to do? If someone is of Somali descent, even if they are an American citizen, that they shouldn't have access to Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security? It's fucking ridiculous. These are programs that they're actually paying into. That's how Social Security works, for example. It's just plain racism. Okay? That's it. The way you predicted what Asmon would say. What is it?
Listen, Hasan, you are the Jake Paul of debates. You have no problem gassing yourself up, talking about how much you want to debate me or debate some other, as you like to call them, slop tuber.
Watch. He's going to say
But
Destiny.
whenever it comes time to debate Ben Shapiro on capitalism or debate Destiny, for some reason...
The reason why he said Destiny is because one, Destiny's banned on this platform, and two, he has run a fairly nefarious cyber stalking operation against me for the last six, seven years. Okay? That doesn't mean that I'm not going to debate someone who has an opinion that is different than mine. I debate people that don't agree with my worldview with regular frequency, including high-profile people who debate all the time, including wanting to debate Ben Shapiro as well. But the reason why he said Destiny is because he's afraid of actually talking to Destiny. He could. He's a kick streamer, just like Destiny is, right? But he doesn't want to, so he'll just offer a alley-oop to Destiny's audience. Also, bringing up Charlie Kirk in this situation is really fucked up because I was about to debate Charlie Kirk and then he got killed, You know, that's not my fault. I was slated to debate him. It's ironic because like this also implies that he is just like not very smart. He's basically saying like, oh, you want to debate me because I'm not very smart and can't actually hold, you know, my worldview does not stand if questioned. You're such an absolute demonstrable clown. You go into Asmon's chat, bait him into a debate, not listen to a single word he said while typing and talking, reading your own chat, misrepresenting everything he said during the 1% of the time. Brother, you are a stan. Okay? Like, you're crying. You're crying in the chat. You're crying at the behest of Asmongold, who seemingly didn't even have that bad of an experience when I was writing in his chat. Like, think about how pathetic this is. Where is the lie? Think about how pathetic that you're like a barb, dude. You're a fucking Nicki Minaj stan. I cannot believe you're in this chat right now crying. I'm pathetic. Yes, this entire thing that you typed out is the most pathetic thing I have ever encountered. Like, why are you defending? Why are you defending a thing that Asmongold is not even defending, right? He doesn't have an issue with it, seemingly. Like, you have a parasocial experience here where you think like you hurt my favorite content creator's feelings. I am going to go into your chat and be like, you're fucking pathetic. You didn't listen to him. Like, that's crazy. Like, think. He has every opportunity to have a normal conversation. It's not like I'm baiting him into debate. I'm typing in his chat. He wants to have some level of power in this conversation. It's not like I'm some fucking tiny random guy either. You know, this is my realm of interest. This is what I've been doing for years and years. Clearly, I guess I have a lot of points of agreement with Asmongold, at least the way that he was. You definitely didn't hurt his feelings. Okay, but why are your feelings hurt? You know, why are your feelings hurt? Is it that scary to have a little bit of pushback for your point of view? Is it that scary for your favorite content creator to have a little bit of pushback whatsoever, or maybe even points of agreement? And even when he obviously wanted to control the flow, even when he obviously wanted to control the narrative to the best of his ability by reducing me to typing in his chat instead of just like calling me on Discord, right? Even then, it was so much. It was such an emotional experience for you that you found yourself here crying about the perceived feelings of your favorite content creator when seemingly he wasn't that offended. Just a little bit of pushback, and he backed away from like 3 different points that he had presented. That's perhaps the reason why he doesn't want to have a conversation like this. I see this as like you wanting to remain in an echo chamber, in a hug box, you not wanting to have these sorts of opinions be tested at all. Okay? That's it. You don't want the bubble to burst and it hurts your feelings and you start crying and you lash out like a baby. I mean, that's what happened. You didn't like hearing your favorite content creator go, yeah, I think me and Hasan agree on a lot. And that's why you had to come in here and lash out. Don't worry. He'll continue to look at clips that he clips of me that he yells about and farm it as drama over and over again. Lash out. Yep, you're right. I'm crying right now. You're not. Lash out. Does it seem? You do understand that you can see my face and saying and how I'm communicating right now. It's very strange. You know, there's 30,000 people in here. They can all see me, right? I don't know if you're like typing with your eyes closed or something. Anyway, it's dick riding. Anyway, chatter might be blind. Comments on YouTube already calling Asmon for bitching out. Yeah, because I think for a lot of these guys, they do also want like the blood sport, right? They want to see like the excitement. They want to see the excitement. They want to see Asmongold dominate me, right? Because he keeps saying I'm stupid. So if I'm actually stupid, I should be easy to destroy. So I don't think they enjoy it when he presents me as like a stupid guy, but then he backs away from actually having any sort of discourse, any sort of back and forth in an environment that he can't completely control. So understandably, his audience is going to feel some type of way about that. Partially because, like, I mean, there are people in his community that think maybe he's a centrist or maybe he has like reasonable positions or whatever. And a lot of those people are going to turn around and go, you know what? I don't know. I would have liked to see him have a conversation with Hasan.
To me, I just simply don't like. This has always been something that I've learned. I learned this like when I was very young, is that never exist inside of a frame that other people put you in. Never let other people dictate the terms of engagement. Never let other people decide the way that you should be doing things. Always do things the way that you want to do them, and then everybody else can exist as an orbiter around that. And if they don't like that,
yeah, this is a way to reframe. This is a way to reframe an objectively cowardly position, but as a position of power. Okay? That's what he's doing. Like, this is him being like, yeah, I actually am super powerful and taking control over my own life. But we'll never win on these talks. So Asman, XG Train, it's all the same stuff. And then the chat have to deal with these fucking losers in chat. Oh no, dude. Is your life destroyed? You have to deal with these fucking losers? Buddy, the fuck do you think I have to go through on a daily basis? The fuck? At least you have your anonymity.
that's too bad. No, I have no interest and no desire
Also,
to debate.
I don't give a shit, and I'm fine taking the fucking heat. I'm fine tanking all the. I'm fine taking all the aggro. Okay, because at the end of the day, the conversation that we're having is not simple fucking drama. Because when you are a political commentator, as Asmongold is, and you spend every fucking waking moment consistently farming the idea that like every single Somali is coming here to harm America, to steal our tax dollars, to steal our subsidies, to come in here from the third world as like parasites. When you say that to a massive audience, you're conditioning your massive audience into hating the other. You're conditioning your massive audience into believing that every single Somali person is actually a parasitic person. Okay? So that's the reason why I fucking eat that shit with regular frequency, because I think it's important to address that that is a ridiculous point of view. Well, shit, then. I guess I'm one of them. The people from this community who thinks that he's a centrist but should have debated, I will criticize him on that. Yeah, and every single time this kind of stuff happens, there are plenty of Asmongold fans who will go, wait a minute, why won't you talk to this guy? You say he's a fucking idiot. I want you to destroy him. I thought you had a reasonable centrist position. Now you're saying you agree with him. That's it. Because like this kind of commentary over how like, oh, I just refuse to have this kind of conversation with these people will come across as like a position of power for some. Okay. He won't debate you because you constantly lie. You implied he's a pedophile. What kind of honest conversation do you think he could have? Anyone to expect to have a person like you? This is also the maximum code. When I made a joke about Texas going after any sort of fucking anime in people's hard drives, that was a joke. Everybody understood that to be a joke. Okay. Since then, Asmongold has consistently talked about how I'm a fucking dangerous terrorist that needs to be prosecuted. That's actually real threats, especially at a time when I was under scrutiny by the Department of Homeland Security, for example. So the notion that there's any sort of reason for Asmongold to think that I won't be courteous to him when I have always been incredibly courteous to him, said about me, to a degree where even my chat yells at me all the fucking time and say, oh my God, why are you being so fucking charitable to Asmongold? Okay. He knows that. He knows that that conversation will not be about like looking for fucking dunks.
Anybody. And by the way, for all of these people saying like, oh, I don't want to debate because I'm so stupid, I don't even debate video game stuff. I don't even debate World of Warcraft stuff. I just don't like debating. I don't debate anybody about anything. Hasan picks and chooses his fights. He's like Jake Paul of debating. So he's not going to
was his banger take. He's like
go
the Jake
out and
Paul of
box
his
somebody
debating.
who's actually like a really good fighter, because you saw what happened.
Once again, I have debated so many right-wing commentators like throughout my entire political commentary career. Again, this is a lie, right? But I can't actually respond to him because we're not having a back and forth conversation. Because if we had a back and forth conversation, I could say from from the likes of Ann Coulter to Larry Elder to numerous right-wing commentary people who have actually ducked me in the past, whether it be Steven Crowder at his fucking peak of his career, now he's irrelevant, or Ben Shapiro time and time again, or even Jordan Peterson. There was a point where I was supposed to debate Jordan Peterson, and he fucking backed away from that. So that is the reason why he likes this format. Because when he says that, his audience goes, oh, he's right. Hasan does duck all these things, right? Hasan does duck all these people. And they'll never check. It's not like they're going to see it. It's not like they're going to turn around and think to themselves, wait a minute, Hasan was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk 2 weeks before Charlie Kirk got shot, you know? It's the same principle behind someone claiming that I just sit indoors all day, right? And I don't do anything else, right? I only sit indoors and I never actually leave my house. Yeah, sure, you can say that and maybe even get like a viral tweet off, but the reality of the matter is very different, right? And if you don't have any investment or any care or any consideration for what the truth is, then you'll just keep believing this wrong thing. And when you have so many of these people, right, whether it be XQC or whether it be numerous other content creators who also fucking hate my guts for one reason or another, also advancing this narrative, then I'm only one person, right? I'm only one person to try and combat the false framing here, and I really can't do that on my own, right? And that's the problem. Because a lot of the non-political or apolitical or centrist or even self-described liberal content creators also play a formative role in establishing this false narrative. And when people hear that from not one, not two, but 10 different people, and they don't actually think critically about this and go, wait a minute, we've seen this guy even in like negatively framed clips outside getting shot at by cops or at the Zohran Mamdani rally or interviewing people all around the world. When they don't even think about it like that, where they go, nah, this guy actually never goes outside. And then that becomes the meta. What is this? Pending, banned on Twitch. He's built a cyberstalking community against Hasan along with collaborating with Nazis just to form allegiances to attack and threaten Hasan. And yes, I mean, it's not just me either. Genuinely curious about Destiny. Have you debated him before? Yes, Destiny and I used to be friends, as a matter of fact, for a brief period of time when I first got on Twitch, when I thought he was, I mean, when he mostly just debated right-wingers, right? And he presented himself as a social democrat. And then he wanted to defend being able to say the N-word as a white guy. And then there was a whole fucking ordeal around that. And then when we had a falling out because of that, he never let it go. He just did not stop consistently hounding me. And not just me, but basically anyone he ever encounters that he doesn't like. What ends up happening is you're only, like, in my experience, the only people that he actually doesn't do this like mass stalking and mass smearing operation are people that he calls orbiters, right? People that don't actually ever try to go independent, that just like kind of stay on his good side. And the moment that they actually go, I don't actually agree with you, and God forbid, embarrass him in a conversation, he will literally utilize his community to stalk and harass people until the ends of time, really. And this actually happened with his orbiters recently. In the last like year or so, where a lot of his orbiters, actually self-described orbiters, were like, oh, I don't think this guy is actually good. I don't think this guy is consistent at all. Maybe we were just kind of duped by the way he was presenting this elaborate argument, usually around enmity, developing enmity towards people who have debated him in the past, right? And they're now suffering from that impact. I've met people in the real world that claim this about you in regards to H3. That's really funny, especially considering that if you're in here for an extended period of time, you know the truth about that. I never talked about Ethan Klein after our podcast ended, only until he made this content nuke that he thought would actually destroy my career in what happened to be the most impactful career most impactful year that I've had in my career as a political commentator. And even then, I rarely ever talk about him in comparison to how much he talks about me. I didn't just actually refuse to talk about him. I did defend him quite a bit. In a lot of these circumstances, I think that anger and that resentment and that frustration, especially because it's usually devoid of like a consistent worldview, ends up burning the person themselves, right? Like whether it be Destiny or whether it be Ethan Klein, like all of that anger and resentment and consistently trying to smear people that you had any relationship with whatsoever ends up actually harming you. It ruins your career. It ruins your focus. It causes you to... I found them. It causes you to... It causes you to fall apart, really. And members of this community did the same thing to others, so I think you should call it out more often. What do you mean? I don't entertain that sort of behavior at all. I actually famously tell my audience not to do that, not to brigade, not to do any of that shit. So I don't know what you mean by that. At most, I have said, if you see someone lying about something that's like easily identifiable, right, about me, you can correct them. And the best course in that situation, the best course correction in that situation is to simply say, like, go watch this YouTube video or go watch one of his podcast appearances, and you'll pretty much understand that, you know, this is not correct. Because that's it. In most circumstances, when people actually do come in here, and not with like hatred, but when people come in here to be like,